Hello there, and welcome to the Rogue Podcast. So recently, a couple of things have happened of note. Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Star Wars show, as it has been titled, is officially releasing May 25th, which we had hopes that it might release in May, and there were some rumors potentially, but I honestly didn't think it was going to come out that early. I thought it'd be more like a summer release, maybe early fall. But we will not have to wait long. February, March, 3 months. 3 months from now in a few days, and we will be seeing our first episode of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series starring Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. Now, I don't know how much Hayden Christensen is going to be in this, but I am
hopefully a ton
pumped for this show. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. So what I want to do is just briefly talk about what we want to see in this show and what we expect to see. What are you excited about? What are you cautious about, etc.? So initial hopes and feelings. I'll start off, and then you guys kind of bounce ideas off of that.
Yep.
I hope we do not stay on Tatooine. Okay. We know that Obi-Wan is there for the vast majority of this time, but I want to see several different locations. I want to see some driving purpose as well. So what I do not want is a serial show. Do you know what I mean by that?
No. Like insuration or a certain order.
So they talk about a serial show, being like the old time superhero shows or hero shows. They would have one person they fight one episode, and then the next episode they fight somebody else, and then the next episode. And each episode is its own story. I do not want that.
What's like Game of Thrones is the opposite of a serial show, right?
Exactly. Game of Thrones tells one story that's written out.
What are those called again? Is it like thematic?
I don't know. An epic, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
I'm sure it has a name.
But like Mando was more or less like that. Each show he had a different challenge to overcome, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you can say the prison episode, the Mando
any errand he had to do.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So there were these different, and that was intentional. They wanted it to be like that. And I think it worked more or less for that show. But I do not want that to be the Obi-Wan show. I want in the beginning of episode 1, there is this huge problem. Maybe Luke's going to be discovered, or he sees this awful injustice, and Obi-Wan cannot help but get involved. And throughout the entire show, this is the mission he is trying to accomplish. And it just goes through like a movie that's broken up into, 6 episodes, I believe.
Yep.
Broken up into 6 episodes, just that where literally it's episode stops and the next episode takes place right there. You know what I mean? I do not want this to be 6 different stories told with one overarching story, because I think that is not high enough of a scale for the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Also, we just have gotten so much freaking sand planets. I can't deal with it anymore. I need this to be a space show. It is.
Would you say that you hate sand?
I do hate sand.
Does it get everywhere?
Dry, and it gets everywhere.
It's rough and coarse.
It's rough and coarse. Exactly. So I just am tired of it. I mean, I know that the Book of Boba Fett took place in Tatooine, and that's fine. You can spend a whole show on one planet, but I cannot have 2 shows in a row just be on Tatooine. Please. Okay. So I would love to see some more locations. I know that they are filming something on Mustafar with Darth Vader's palace. But I want to see Obi-Wan traveling around the galaxy with a purpose. And I want this purpose to be intense every moment where he is hiding, trying not to be discovered by the Empire, right? Because they don't know that where he is. They can't possibly know that he's on Tatooine. So if he's on Tatooine and doing Jedi things, it wouldn't make sense for the story as well, because somehow, some way that would get to the Empire, right? So he's got to do everything off planet, which I think is what we'll see. I don't worry about that too much. But when I saw the opening poster and it was Obi-Wan walking across the sand dunes, I just started to be like, no, please don't make this a show of Obi-Wan walking across the sand dunes. I can't take
the whole, all 6 episodes. He's just going to be walking.
Yes. So that's what I want to see. And I know Hayden Christensen is in the show, but I hope it's just not him in the Darth Vader suit and coming out of the suit and talking at times. I want to see some flashbacks of the 2 of them. And I want to see them in action as Anakin and Obi-Wan as well, because it would just be an awesome throwback. I mean, I don't know how great that is for the storytelling itself, but I'm fine with some fan service in that case. You know,
we can see things we haven't seen before.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That definitely serves the story.
One other thing I really want to see is Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn talking with Obi-Wan. So I mean, those are just the fan service things I want to see, but I just hope the story is is epic and really does justice to the characters. I would hate to come away from this show and feel like it did not deliver like the Book of Boba Fett did, where we're getting a story that we've wanted for so long, and then just to be done with it and been like, I can't have that with this show. I don't think that's going to happen. Not Bryce Dallas Howard. Deborah Chow seems to have a really great respect for Star Wars. And it seems like she has really been learning from Filoni as well. And I know Filoni's going to have a big hand in this show as well. So I expect great things of it. I just hope that I'm not let down in that way. So that's, I guess, more or less what I want to see from this show is him protecting Luke through all of this as well as his main driving force. But I want to have something take him off world that he knows he has to get involved with. So that's what I want to see happen.
I want this show to always either have Obi-Wan or Anakin in the main focus. Too many times in these shows, they want to
bring in someone else.
Yeah, and not have the show about the character. Like they want to bring in an assistant, Obi-Wan's assistant helper, and then the whole story is about Obi-Wan's assistant instead of.
Well, and that's even what Disney has just kind of done in general. Like Rogue One, new characters. I mean, yeah, sure, you have Darth Vader at the end, but why couldn't Vader have been involved with the whole movie? And I don't get me wrong, I love Rogue One, it's great, but the sequel trilogy. You have a great opportunity to tell a story involving Chewbacca, Han Solo, Leia, Luke, Lando, and they're barely in the movies. You know what I mean? And it's just like
this is one show where they cannot do that.
No,
because Obi-Wan and Anakin are Star Wars
100%, and you have the same actors.
Episode, they are. Without one or without the other, nothing happens.
Yeah.
in the whole saga.
Yeah. And
so you don't. Why waste time? I understand we're probably going to have some Night Sisters potentially, or
fine with that.
Some dark side users.
Sure.
But they need to be in relation to
the overall
Darth Vader, in relation to if they interact with Obi-Wan, probably not.
What I don't want is this to be Anakin versus Obi-Wan show.
No.
At the end, I would love to see one big duel between the two of them, super emotional. Maybe Anakin is trying to hunt Obi-Wan down for much of it, but like I want Obi-Wan to be doing his own thing and Anakin's trying to chase, or Vader's trying to chase him through it. You know what I mean? That would be a good story. So that way you can see Obi-Wan fight all these different characters and meet all kinds of characters as well. So that in that case, I'm fine with him fighting the Night Sisters and whatnot.
You guys may have heard a while ago. Hang on, I got a sneeze coming.
Bless you.
Didn't work. They originally, I believe, the show was going to not have Kenobi in the entire show up until a last episode reveal.
What? You mean Vader?
Yeah. Between Vader?
You said it wouldn't have Kenobi in the entire show?
Correct. Up until a last episode reveal.
There's no way.
I remember either having, I think Josh from Den of Nerds said that on a Nerd Theory podcast.
There's no way, dude.
Well, remember they had all the rewrites. That's what all the rewrites were for.
Well, that's a good rewrite, because that might be the most stupid thing I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Oh.
I mean, whatever. As long as that's not what happened, I will. If I don't see Obi-Wan for 75% of the first episode, I'm not watching the rest of the show.
Wow.
Okay. So, thank you. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be really good. I honestly think that this has the potential to be better than the entirety of the Clone Wars, Rebels, Mandalorian. This should be the best thing outside of the movies. It should be.
Should be. It's.
Maybe.
I mean, they have
Ewan
to be
McGregor at exactly the right age that he should be at this time.
They have to. They have to do a good job making a plot, because other than, like you said, Jake, you want something to come up where Kenobi has to intervene and do something.
risk it all. He's risking the safety of Luke. He's risking his own life. He's risking the future of the galaxy, because they claim that, you know, Luke is the one that has a chance to save the galaxy. So Obi-Wan believes that he's protecting the entire galaxy by protecting Luke. So this mission that he goes on to risk it all has to be this driving force. So I can't imagine that they haven't come up with something that's gonna do that. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I just fear that they might come up with something that's not very compelling.
Please no, please. And also, the character of Obi-Wan should be exactly the same as he was in Revenge of the Sith, except for just maybe more wise, more cautious.
Yeah, like between Ben, maybe a little crazy, like Ben Kenobi.
No, not in the short amount of time.
It's been 10 years. He's halfway there,
which is insane to think about how much he aged in 22 years.
Yeah,
but that's all right. We can chalk that one up to going back.
Two
in time to
sons.
write a show.
Two sons.
Perfect. And stress.
That's
look what
the
it does.
skin.
Look what 4 years of being a president does to a man.
Yeah, 4 years plus 2 sons, double the ultraviolet rays.
Yeah. CJ, what do you want to see out of this show?
So I think that it should be separated into two plots, maybe not two main plots, but one overarching one that you're talking about with a conflict that draws him away. I don't necessarily think it has to be pulling him away from Luke. I think it could be him having to go somewhere because of Luke. I don't know whether to draw attention away from him or to like just protect him because there's something somewhere else that's going to find him if he leaves it alone. But I think you mentioned Qui-Gon. I think there should be a second kind of underplot line that develops him becoming wiser. Because he also I feel like would have some regret with how things turn out with Anakin.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
So
That's
him dealing with that.
He should have to deal with that.
PTSD.
I mean, he
that
failed.
needs to be serious.
He failed.
Him
as a master.
coming to terms with his failure.
Yeah,
I
And
have
then-
failed you, Anakin.
As a
I have
fan
failed you.
service thing, I really want him to commune with Qui-Gon and learn how to become the disembodied Force ghost, because
I don't-
Qui-Gon can't do that.
Yeah. I don't see
Or-
how that doesn't happen. You
I
know?
feel like it has to.
it has to.
That's what I want to see out of it, because I feel like his conversations with Qui-Gon after going through and failing with Anakin,
Yeah.
I think like those would be great moments.
Yeah,
But,
even if he has to find like a planet where the force is exceptionally strong or something, so that he can commune with Qui-Gon, because that's something we've seen in Star Wars several times. Is like the force is really strong here. I mean, you go to Mortis and he has that conversation with Qui-Gon, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So something like that, perhaps, where he finds a place that might be possible, where he can start his training to become one with the Force. So I would be
Mhm.
interested in something like that as well. And maybe that's how, you know, someone hears of him, because of something that while he's traveling to this planet, perhaps he
Mhm.
saves someone. The Empire sniffs of a Jedi and Inquisitors, because we're definitely going to see some Inquisitors. Inquisitors start hunting him down. He's fighting off Inquisitors. Vader says, all right, this Jedi is proving to be exceptionally difficult for us to track down. Every time we send someone to this guy, he dies. This one might be Obi-Wan, the guy I've been looking for a long time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
something
that'd be
like
great.
that would be really, really interesting.
I don't know that it should be that on the nose of like this guy's like that Vader actively knows about this Jedi. Because if Vader actively knew about a Jedi, he would go himself
Right.
immediately and kill him.
I don't know if
He
that's
slowly figures
true.
it out, though.
I mean, in Rebels, we see him sending the Inquisitors after Jedi frequently. He doesn't take place, or he doesn't
Pretty quickly. He shows up. End of season 2, he's there.
Yeah, but then he leaves it to go do bigger, better things, and still sends Inquisitors after him. So like, he's not that preoccupied with just wiping out Jedi. He has other things he is also doing. And when his Inquisitors can't get the job done, he steps in. Same thing with like Cal Kestis and Jedi Fallen Order. He sent 4 Inquisitors after him. And after they repeatedly failed, he says, all right, fine. This is one of the times I have to step
I'll
in.
do this myself.
Exactly. So he definitely
think-
delegates.
I do think it'd be good if during that process, though, he slowly starts to figure out or suspect that it's Kenobi, just
Exactly.
to like build anticipation. Because
Yes.
then, like, his heart's in it.
Yes.
It's not just killing a Jedi; it's
Kenobi.
revenge.
Exactly.
And Anakin he'll be fighting with Anakin and himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should be this should be an extremely emotional show.
So one thing that Theory keeps saying, and it bugs me, he keeps saying because this is the halfway point between Episode 3 and A New Hope, Anakin and Vader. Anakin is exactly halfway gone. That's not
No,
just
I think
because you go from
Anakin's all the way gone and Revenge of the Sith.
just because you go well, he's saying like because time it's 20 years and you split that in half, he's halfway down, but he could have gone further. Like he took a huge dip.
Yeah, he fell off a
after
cliff.
Revenge
That
of the
happens real
Sith.
fast.
So it's not like he's halfway and then he's halfway to where he's going to be in Episode 4. Like he's I'd say he's like 80%.
When you turn to the
there.
dark side, you're turned to the dark side.
Of
I
course.
think he was halfway gone when he killed Count Dooku, maybe.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. Theory says a lot of stuff, which is what happens. You put out 4 videos a day about Star Wars. And I love him. I think he's probably the best Star Wars fan out there as far as, passion for the show or passion for the platform
Franchise.
and just understanding of what Star Wars is and what it should be. But sometimes he does say stuff that I definitely disagree with. So he has created his own canon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
It's fine.
I find myself doing that sometimes
Me too,
Just
100%.
just ignoring what I don't care for.
And saying, some things you have to fill in the gaps yourself. So,
Right.
And that's what he does. So, all right. Any other comments about what you want to see out of the Obi-Wan?
A lot of internal struggle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine
not-
with there not being a ton of lightsaber battles. Like just a few here and there, I'm cool with that.
Not to the point. I don't think I hate the plot device where kind of like how it was with Boba Fett. He was trying to heal himself. Like I think Obi-Wan he needs to come to terms
Right. That's the right
with what
word.
happens, but he doesn't need to heal.
No, he shouldn't. To where he's like okay with it.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
It's not like he needs to. I think you guys and most of the viewers probably know what I mean, where they'd use it as a plot device and not till the season finale he opens his eyes and sees.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we don't need that.
No, he should be left in turmoil.
Yeah,
The
that
show-
and that
I mean,
too.
part of him should always be uncomfortable with how with stuff with Anakin ended.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't good.
One thing I would do want to bring up about combat. We've mentioned in previous videos and in previous episodes of our show that we haven't liked the way the shows have done lightsaber combat. This is going to be really tricky for them because you go from 10 years removed from Revenge of the Sith, which is the most acrobatic and amazing 2 Jedi at the peak of their powers. At the peak of the Jedi Order, like they've got combat nailed down to a T. Well, now Vader is mostly machine. He's moving slower, but he's very powerful.
And 10 years later, so he's had some time to adjust.
Yep. And then Obi-Wan's also aged 10 years and probably not as practiced on his skills either. So you can have some room for it not being as expensive and as well choreographed as Revenge of the Sith was, but I don't want that to be an excuse for them to make the lightsaber combat crappy like we've seen with Ahsoka. How Ahsoka's lightsaber combat was just got awful, and how we've seen other combat be done with the darksaber as well. Like this should be really intense battles that I'm convinced that these are 2 masters going at it. You know what I mean?
I don't. Obi-Wan, yes, he gets older. I don't think he ever gets less experienced. Skilled.
Yeah.
That's a better way of saying
But
it.
I mean, like you say, the halfway is he going to be? He's got to digress eventually to who we see in A New Hope.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think A New Hope, maybe in a potential fight that they have, in A New Hope, they're both almost scared to see what the other person is going to do. And that's very much reading into it to fill in the gaps. But like when they're both kind of doing a jab, they're both
Feeling it out.
they're not
I
necessarily
suppose.
like,
I mean, really,
I want
think
to
it was
kill this
just
guy.
1970.
Well, yeah, but you have to,
Yeah.
if you want to believe the story, you have to do this and read into it.
Yeah. All right. What do you guys expect? You think you're gonna love it?
I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, me too.
I better love it.
Yeah.
Like,
I have way higher hopes for this than I did for Boba.
I mean,
like,
even
at
for the
any
book
point.
of Boba, I was cautiously optimistic. So like, I'm not that let down. You know what I mean? I was
'Cause,
like,
yeah, This is 3 years in the making. It's been 4 years in the making.
And they're not using the volume either, so they're not as restricted by as much. They built a lot of set. They built a lot of set for this. Okay, I've seen a lot of different set pieces that were leaked, so I know that they are using the volume, but not to the. I think this is going to feel very different than the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian have felt, because they definitely had the same kind of feel, you know, as each other. And I think this is going to feel totally different. I think it's going to be much more movie-like, is my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
Yeah, if they just filmed a full movie and literally hard cut at scene transitions, do it.
That's what I expect. All right. Well, this has been the Rogue Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed our hype video, I suppose you would call it, for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
We should do a reaction, a first time reaction if we ever get a trailer together.
Yeah, we'll watch the trailer together. That'll be great. We better freaking get a trailer.
I know. Is this the closest any release has been for?
This is the first initial announcement we've gotten since they said that it was going to come out this year.
Half of a sizzle reel.
Yeah, the sizzle reel was. I still want to throw things when I remember that freaking sizzle reel. All right, catch you guys next time. May the force be with you.